I've owned my Tesla Model 3 Performance here for about 1 year and 30,000 miles. Today I'm going to go over the pros and the cons of this car, how it's held up over the year, and what I like about it. So let's get straight into it.
Now, starting with the front end, this is the 2024 Highland refresh. I went with the gray option considering at the time it was the only option that would keep me in the price range to still qualify for the federal EV tax credit. After 30,000 miles of highway driving, the paint has actually held up pretty well, with not many noticeable paint defects or chips. Tesla paint is notoriously thin, but I'm happy to say my personal experience with the new updated Model 3 has been great, and I haven't noticed any rock chips out of the normal from what you'd expect from primarily highway driving in my city of Orlando, Florida. Moving down to these 20-inch wheels. These are the new warp wheels specific to the Model 3 Performance. Now they actually come with plastic aero inserts designed for range, but one of the first things I did was pop those off. Personally, I think the car looks significantly more aggressive without them. It gives the wheels much more depth, but more importantly, it actually lets you see those massive red performance calipers. When you leave the aero caps on, you're basically hiding one of the best visual cues that this is a performance model. After 30,000 miles, the finish on these wheels have held up pretty well. I haven't noticed any major pitting or issues, outside of some scratches that are very hard to tell from when I took the aero caps off. There is some minor curb rash only on one wheel, which I honestly don't know where it came from. If you're worried about the range loss from taking off the caps, in my experience here in Florida, the trade-off for better aesthetic is 100% worth it. Now hopping inside, this is where the 2024 refresh really shines. The first thing you'll notice is the carbon fiber trim running across the dash. Unlike the wood or Alcantara in the previous models, this gives the Performance a much more premium cockpit feel. 30,000 miles in and it's still flawless. No rattles or weird vibrations coming from the dash area, which is huge for a Tesla. Then you have these new Performance sports seats. I actually went with the white interior for my second Tesla, and I'm still incredibly happy with that choice. Living in the Florida sun, the white is a literal lifesaver. I can leave this car baking outside in the Orlando heat, and I don't have to worry about coming back to the car with burning hot seats like you do with the black leather. It keeps the whole cabin feeling much cooler. There is some slight wear increasing on the driver's side bolstering when I slide in and out. It is definitely noticeable if you're looking for it, but for 30,000 miles in, it doesn't bother me much. Most of the time, a quick wipe down keeps them looking brand new, and with the addition of seat ventilation, these are easily the most comfortable seats I've ever had in a car. Now to mention the frunk and trunk space, the frunk serves as the perfect takeout zone to keep food aromas out of the cabin while keeping charging essentials neatly tucked away. For everything else, the deep rear trunk and hidden sub-compartments provide ample secure space for camera gear or valuable collection hauls. It's a highly versatile setup that easily transitions from a professional equipment loadout to a massive grocery run with the seats folded flat. Now moving on to the tech. This is where the Model 3 really separates itself from anything else on the road. Everything is controlled through this 15.4-inch display. 30,000 miles later, and the UI is still the gold standard for me. And Tesla's over-the-air updates means the car actually has a lot more features today than it did when I drove it off the lot a year ago. But we have to talk about the elephant in the room, the lack of stalks. Tesla moved the turn signals to buttons on the steering wheel and gear shifters on the screen. I'll be honest, the first week was a learning curve, but after 30,000 miles, it's completely muscle memory. I don't even think about it anymore. In fact, I really enjoy the auto shift feature, and I find myself rarely needing to manually go into gear. The turn signals don't bother me as much either. I do know they offer a retrofit to have those installed, something I'm not willing to spend money on, but glad it's an option for those who couldn't get used to the turn signal buttons. Then there's the sound system. The 2024 Performance comes with a 17 speaker setup, including dual subwoofers. As someone who spends hours a day in this car commuting around Orlando, the audio quality is a massive pro for me. Whether it's podcasts or music, the clarity and bass response are incredible. It honestly feels like a high-end home theater setup on wheels. One of the coolest additions to the Highland refresh is actually for the passengers. There's now an 8-inch screen in the back that gives rear passengers control over their own climate, heated seats, and it even lets them stream Netflix or YouTube while we're on the move. Even though I'm usually the one driving, having that screen for passengers makes the car feel much more like a premium family cruiser and less like a focused sports sedan. And that cruiser lifestyle extends to the dogs too. Having my dogs with us on trips is so much easier with dog mode. If we need to hop into a shop where they aren't allowed, I can keep the climate locked and show a massive message on the screen letting people know they're safe and cool. In the Florida sun, it's not just a tech feature, it's an absolute necessity for peace of mind while traveling. Beyond driving safety, I have to mention Sentry mode. Having a built-in 360-degree dash cam that records anytime someone gets too close to the car provides so much peace of mind, especially when parking at busy trailheads or shopping centers. It's one of those set it and forget it features that makes every other car feel outdated. There are also some small safety tech wins that I've really appreciated over the 30,000 miles. Tesla finally added physical blind spot indicators. It's a tiny red LED hidden inside the front speaker grills. It's a small thing, but when you're merging onto I-4 in the heavy Orlando traffic, having that split-second visual cue without having to glance at the main screen is a massive quality of life improvement. Now we're getting to the most controversial yet impressive part of this car, full self-driving. Over 30,000 miles, FSD has fundamentally changed how I look at driving. One of the biggest updates recently has been the integration of Grok. Instead of fumbling with the screen to type in addresses, I can just tell the car what I need to do. Navigate me to Kebab Korean restaurant and then take me home.
Navigating to Kebab Korean street food in Orlando first, then home. It's about 48 minutes and 23 miles total. Let me know if you want to change anything.
But the real magic starts before I even touch the wheel. I can literally sit here, press one button, and the car shifts itself into gear, checks the surrounding, and pulls out of the driveway or parking spot on its own. It's that end-to-end experience that makes it feel like you're living in the future. Driving around Orlando, specifically on I-4 or the 429, can be a nightmare, but FSD V14 and the latest updates have turned those high-stress commutes into passive time. I've gone from Orlando to Tampa with absolutely zero interventions, no touching the pedals, no steering, just monitoring the system. The way it handles lane changes is now much more human-like. It doesn't just jerk the wheel, it looks for a gap, signals, and smoothly slides over. It even handles the Orlando special, people cutting you off or sudden construction with a level of composure that's miles ahead of where it was even 6 months ago. The car is constantly learning, and seeing that progress over 30,000 miles has been one of the coolest parts of ownership. People always ask, do you actually trust it? The answer is, I trust it as a co-pilot. It's not about being able to fall asleep, it's about the mental load. I'm not exhausted from fighting traffic, the car handles the boring part of the drive. Now, it isn't perfect, there are still some Tesla moments. Sometimes it gets a bit hesitant at weirdly angled blinking yellow lights, or it might try to get into a turning lane a little too early. You still have to be the captain of the ship, but comparing version 14 to what I had when I first bought the car, or even V12 on my 21 Model Y Performance, it's night and day. If you're doing 30,000 miles a year like I am, FSD isn't just a toy, it's a productivity tool that makes those miles feel like half the distance. Okay, let's talk numbers. The part of EV ownership that usually catches people by surprise. Over 30,000 miles, I've spent a total of $1,179 on charging. If you look at my stats, 96% of that was done at home at 15 cents per kilowatt hour. Because I'm charging in my garage overnight, my energy cost is basically negligible. According to the Tesla app, I've saved over $1,600 in gas this year alone. But honestly, comparing this to a standard gas car doesn't tell the whole story. Because before this, I was daily driving a 2020 BMW M2 competition. If I were still in that M2 competition, 30,000 miles in 1 year would have looked very different. We're talking about 3 oil changes, a spark plug service, and likely a set of brake pads, all of which are expensive on an M car. Not to mention the gas. The M2 competition averages about 18 to 20 miles per gallon if you're lucky. For 30,000 miles, I would have spent closer to 6,000 to 7,000 just in premium 93 octane fuel at Florida prices. Maintenance on the Tesla so far, I've topped off the windshield washer fluid and replaced the cabin air filter. That's it. No oil, no belts, no spark plugs, and thanks to regenerative braking, my brake pads still look brand new. The only real maintenance cost for this car is tires, which I have not had to replace yet and still have a bit more tread before I need to replace them. So after 1 year and 30,000 miles, would I buy the 2024 Model 3 Performance again? Absolutely. It's not just about the speed or the tech, it's the fact that I can have a car that handles like a sports car, has the most advanced self-driving software on the road, and costs me less to fuel than a budget hatchback. Is it perfect? No. The lack of stalks took some time to learn. FSD is expensive and autopilot is being removed from base Teslas, which is a conversation for a whole nother video. But as a complete package for someone who spends as much time on the road as I do, there isn't another car on the market that offers this much value. I hope this gives you guys good insights on the car, whether you're just looking for a review on it or looking to buy one. If you guys like this video, please make sure to give it a thumbs up, and I'm hoping to release more videos soon in the near future, so definitely consider subscribing. Thank you guys so much for watching and have a fantastic day.